Hello everybody and welcome to another What's Next. I'm going to be your host Trombone and we're going to be dredging through the patch notes of 7.19. Let's do this. If you're unfamiliar with the video series, you might notice the lack of gameplay and the addition of my face and the actual patch notes. That was a suggestion from Reddit. I like to post to the League subreddit as well. A little bit of feedback. Supposedly my gameplay was cringy, and I apologize for that because it's bronze and it's cringy for me too, especially when I watch it back. Anyway, moving on, because there's more important things than discussing the changes to this video series. There are changes to League of Legends that need to be talked about. First up, we got some huge reworks. To Azir, Xin Zhao, a little bit Caitlynn, not quite so much, but Azir and Xin Zhao for sure. So I'm going to show you all the stuffs. You can read that at your leisure. However, basically what it's going to say is Azir is going to be more of a dually champion. Yeah, he was kind of like that before. They took away some of his safety, so they reduced a bunch of ranges, gave him a bit of an AP scaling shield on his E, gave him an attack speed stat if he has 3 or more soldiers, and gave him an additional soldier when he E's. Again, fighty. He's very fighty. They took some of the safety away from him. So essentially, his Q cast range is down about 150. Again, rounding. Apologize. Got to get through this fist. There's like 3 reworks, guys. And I try to keep these under 20 minutes for you. Anyway, Azir. His base health is up about 16. Again, rounding. Base movement speed up 10. He's faster. He's a fighter. I don't know. Anyway, cast range is down on his Q from 875 to 720. Spear length is up 370 from 300. Cooldown is up a second at the earliest rank. However, at the latest rank, it's down a second to 5 seconds. Base damage is up early and up late. Always the best buffs. So it's up about 5 damage at first rank and 45 at max rank. Ratio, it's going to be down to, it's going to be down to, I got excited, 0.3 ability power from 0.5 ability power. Earlier trades, less late game safety from behind stuff. That's kind of what they were going for. And soldiers are going to clump when you send them, so you can't go circle them and again, it's more fighty. That's all I'm trying to say through this. They just did things to make him more of a fighty champion, less of a safe champion. They want him to fight all the time. He's like Bronze's new mid laner. Anyway, his W soldier command range is going to be down to 660 from 800. Cast range is going to be up though to 500 from 450. A little bit of a range at the beginning, a little less from walking away. And Azir's soldiers can no longer kill wards or trinkets. Again, a little less safe, so they took away they added risk reward and took away the sheer safety that Azir had. Base damage is going to be up all the way except until the end, then it's down like 10. Well, it's down for like the last 3 levels. But base damage is going to be up early, down a little bit late, and he gains that attack speed, as I was saying, for that 3rd soldier that he summons. And that's up to 60% at max rank. His ammo recharge, I don't know what the heck an ammo recharge, is down early and going to stay at about 6 seconds. And stabbing is going to deal 40, 70, and 100% damage to secondary targets at levels 1, 6, and 11. So more fighting. Again, fighting all the time. Get in the middle. Initiate. Fight. Deal damage and stuff. At the mid game. That's his mid-late game role. I guess. His E is shield ratio. Told you about that. It's 0.7 ability power. Shield duration, however, is only going to be 1.5 seconds rather than 4 seconds. Get in, mess some stuff up, and make them leave. And Azir now gains his shield upon casting his E, not after hitting an enemy champion. However, if Azir does hit an enemy champion, he immediately gains a W charge. So you go in, you go to hit your E, you hit an enemy champion, and you immediately get another W charge. You get 3 of them, you get an attack speed boost. You're like an engage machine with this E, and I really like it. Again, Bronze's new mid laner, because it just exemplifies everything we love for some reason. Fighting and making dumb decisions. To back up that dumb decision, you now have an ult that's a larger wall size by 1, 2, or 1, 1, and 1 soldier. That's 1 soldier bigger, every rank, up to 7. And the cooldown is down, so now you can make dumb decisions, push them away faster. However, once it's up, it's up. It's just regular terrain. It's like a wall, you can flash over it. It's like a brand new wall that does the same thing a little bit differently. But that's Azir. Moving on to Xin Zhao. I'm gonna give you my opinion on this one. What I feel like they did with Xin Zhao is they made him a giant top lane duelist. Now I don't know if they took away his jungle clear per se. They might have actually made his early jungle clear a little better, because what they did was they moved his OW passives. They put it onto his passive. And so they took down a little bit of attack speed. They took down attacks, or they threw up attack speed scaling. They gave him his W passive on his passive, so you don't have to start that in the jungle. You can start his W and still have the W passive on his passive. You have your Q, you have your E, basically the same. I believe your Q does less damage, especially at later ranks. However, it has a higher ratio. Attack speed is favored, damage is favored. Glass Cannon Xin is kind of the new thing. So he's more of a duelist. He has less damage on his Q overall, higher ratio. It encourages building AD. His W is brand new. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but basically it's going to send out a semicircle, and you're going to spear forward in the middle of it. So you're going to slash. That's going to deal up to 70% plus 0.3 total attack damage at max rank. And then that spear in the center is going to do up to 170 plus 0.85 total attack damage, and slow by 50% for 1.5 seconds. So you're going to do a ton of damage, slow some people, and your cast time is reduced by bonus attack speed. So Trinity Force Sin is that's scary. Glass Cannon Sin. Again, I don't know if they took away his jungling ability, but they definitely added to his top lane duelist ability, and that's scary as shit. His E cost down 50 mana. It's down 10 mana. Not a big deal, but kind of a big deal. Damage is down again. Again, they don't want his E to be his main form of damage. They don't want his Q to be his main form of damage. They want it to be A, but they want his W to be his main damage. His Q to be secondary, and E is more of a kind of a gap closer. The slow duration is down to 0.5 seconds rather than 2 seconds, because again, the slow is still on the W. And swift as a coursing river, because all of the Mulan references. So casting Audacious Charge grants Xin Zhao up to 60% attack speed, and that's at max rank for 5 seconds. I have no idea if that contributes to the cooldown reduction on his W. God, I hope not, because that's scary. This whole kit scares me, and I love it because I want to use it. But scary if I ever play against it, because yeah, that's a lot of damage. Glass Cannon. So I mean, there's some opportunity there, but he heals a ton too. So like, I don't know, sustain plus a bunch of damage plus some slows plus this new alt. Let's talk about the new ult for a second. So he doesn't get bonus resistances. Why? Because Xin Zhao is better than that. He's cooler than that. For 3 seconds after casting Crescent Guard, his ult, his new ult, Xin Zhao is going to negate all damage originating from champions further than 450 units away. And that duration is extended by attacking enemy champions. Boom. So you get in there, you attack somebody, and someone's way over here, they come in there and like, oh man, I gotta kill this guy, I gotta help my teammate. Boom. You can't do anything to him. Wait till he gets to you. You attack some stuff, it doesn't take any damage from you, moves to you. Still not taking damage from you because he's attacking champions. Duration's increasing, and he's not taking any damage from anybody, and he's just an invulnerable monster. I don't think that's how it actually works, but that's what I envision, and that's why I'm super scared. But what I read they wrote it. You can read it here. Fact check me. It's right here. The analysis was me having a little bit of fun with it. That's why I'm scared of Xin Zhao. Moving on to the changes that matter, though. The changes that really matter. Aatrox. I lied. These don't really matter. So if Dark Flight is happening, your Descendant, he's unstoppable. There you go. And Massacre's attack range is up, so I don't know. Look out. Aatrox is now the most powerful champion in League of Legends. That's all it took. That's all Riot was waiting for, is Worlds to happen, and now they can make Aatrox unstoppable. Well, look at it. It says right there, unstoppable. What they failed to mention is Aatrox is now unstoppable all the time. Basically, I mean, no, in all seriousness, not that big of a change. I don't see this changing much in League of Legends. Aatrox, they're moving him nudges. They promised a rework so they can match his really cool theme with a really cool kit. I'm waiting for that. This is a nudge to grow interest in, as for all I'm concerned, because this is not going to bring him back to relevancy. Through the nudges, though, I've seen more Aatrox play. Generate more interest, so when they finally do rework them, there's going to be interest behind it, because as we kind of saw with Urgot, they reworked him, not a lot of interest there, because there wasn't to begin with, so maybe they're building that so people still try the reworked champion. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on to Caitlynn, the changes I actually care about, because we'll probably see a lot more Caitlynn, and I apologize for that, because this is going to be, it's going to be a shitty 2 weeks. So our base health is going to be down about 50. Again, I'm rounding. If you don't like it, you can read it. It's right in front of your face. Health growth stat is going to be up 5 to 85. Base attack speed is going to be up to 0.568. However, her innate bonus attack speed is down to 10% from 15%. So her attack speed overall, what they did the math for us. They didn't have to put this here. Attack speed at level 1 is 0.625, and that is unchanged from what it is right at this very moment. However, her attack speed growth is going to be back up to 4%. That's back to what it was before they nerfed her into the goddamn ground. So that's the base stat changes. Basically telling you that Caitlyn's going to scale better. She's going to take a little bit of a health early trade for that scaling. And also, her headshot is now going to proc on turrets. So in addition to that scaling, they gave her that health hit in the beginning. I think she's got that scaling back. Her headshots are going to do more damage on turrets, which is going to be cool. It's going to kind of suck. It's going to make trading a little harder under turret sometimes. However, with these W and sneaky traps, you can go pretty far with those trades. We'll talk about that in a moment. Anyway, procs on turrets. She takes turrets faster. In addition to her lane bully, because they gave her 67% to enemies past the first on her Q again. So more damage on her Q. I believe they're still going to take that reduced damage that they had on it before, but the bonus damage beyond the first is up. So her wave clear is going to be easier. She's going to be a little bit more of a lane bully again, not too overpowering, because I think that still took some damage hits. However, she has that wave clear ability, and she can push you under a turret again. Take turrets faster. Early game threat, a little bit more there. Mid game, they gave her W a bunch of damage. So the trap duration, rather than being 90 seconds all the time, is going to be 30 and scale up to 50 at max rank. Her bonus headshot damage is up 30 at rank 1 and up 50 at rank 5. And they added a scaling bonus attack damage ratio. So it starts at 0.4 rather than 0.6. Unlucky, but it scales all the way up to 1. All the way up to 1.0 bonus attack damage. That's crazy. That's crazy. I love it. So her W is going to do more damage, significantly. Except maybe rank 1, but I think they shored that up with the 30 extra damage. So you max trap first, and you're going to have hella good trades. I mean, you're going to obviously have to place that. Makes you have to be better at Caitlynn than most, but it's going to be worth it in straight up damage. However, if you're using it for vision, the reveal duration is going to be down 3 seconds. So if you put it somewhere and someone steps on it, you can only see them for 3 seconds instead of 8. So with the more damage comes a little less time to shoot that person. And the charge rate is down early to 30 seconds from 45 and scales 2 seconds more to 12 seconds rather than 10. Again, a lot of damage there, a little less opportunity, so you got to be a little more trade oriented with those Ws. You can't just kind of set them down, walk up, take it. So she's a little less safe, kind of the Azir thing, but a lot less. Again, all of this put together makes a really strong Caitlynn. I don't see playing against her being very fun in the next 2 weeks, but I do see something. So some part of this is going to get nerfed, so you don't have to deal with all of this for too long. Again, that's my personal opinion, but yeah, look at it. Like, look at it. It's too much. Moving on to Janna. So the thing that they did with Janna, and I'm going to just do a quick read through because there's a lot of stuff to read. However, what it all is going to boil down to is Janna is going to be a lane-oriented support. She's going to help with early trades. She's going to have better early peel with her Q. Not that she's not the peel queen already, but she's got better peel. Her cooldown on her shield is more, so you got to use it more impactfully. And she's going to have better early trades. And if you want to kite away, instead of shielding and just kiting away, you have to use your Q for that. So a little less brain dead, a lot more fun. Let me read through the damages, or the changes, but she does more damages-ish, kind of. Again, better at trading early than she was before, not a shield bot. So that's really fun. They made her more fun, but again, a lot of changes. Let me read through them, and then I'll tell you exactly what I told you right now. So her attack range is going to go up from 475 to 550. Her base attack damage is going to be 46 from 52. That's down 6. And let's just skip to her passive. So she's going to gain the Tailwind 8% movement speed. And because of the second part, where her attacks and single target spells deal bonus damage equal to 35% of bonus movement speed, Tailwind's 8% counts for that. And at Janna's base movement speed of 335, Tailwind's going to grant 9.38 bonus magic damage. So they took off 6 on her base attack damage, but they gave her 9. But her attack damage growth stat down to 1.5. So it's going to be more powerful for a couple levels, and then it's going to be less, unless you build more movement speed, get more movement speed. So that's how it is. Her attack speed growth stat is going to be up to 2.95%, again allowing her to attack more, get better early trades. Basic attack missile speed, I can't say missile today, to 1600 from 1200. Again, faster trades, better trades, I don't know, take it for what it's worth. Base health is going to be up to 525, allowing her to sit a little bit more in the front of those trades. Maybe not in the front, but next to the ADC and make those trades. And her health growth stat, however, is down to 70 from 78. We talked about her passive because it's really cool, and that's why all these base stat changes matter. Her Q, the cost is going to be down early to 60 mana, and it's going to be down 10 at max rank. Not 210, down 10 from 150 to 140 at max rank. It's 60 at base. Cooldown is 12 seconds at all ranks. Awesome for early max rank and second to max rank. It's going to be 1 second and 2 seconds more respectively. Again, showing up early a little bit, getting those early trades, sacrificing Qs a little bit more in team fights. Range on that is going to be 1000 to 1750 from 850 to 1742 and a half. That was very specific. They changed it. They made it a little more basic. I don't know if it was because they realized it doesn't have to be quite so specific, but that's how it is. And Howling Gale is always going to reach an endpoint in 1.5 seconds. So fully charged cast moves 75% faster than an instant cast. So you give it a little more range, you give it 1.5 seconds to get there. Max range, you're gonna have a really fast traveling. Again, better for kiting. A little more damage on the passive. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's early trades. It's Janna's thing. Zephyr cooldown is down to 8 seconds because can you really have a trading Janna without a Zephyr on an 8-second cooldown? Slow duration, however, is going to be down to 2 per seconds from 3 seconds. I don't know why I added the per in there. passive movement speed is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10%, rather than 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. Got to give her a little less because there's a little more power in that movement speed now. And her range is 550 measured between hitbox edges, rather than 600 measured between hitbox centers. Large targets, Cho'Gaths, range increased, decreased versus like Teemos and the little targets, and you know. And again, like I was saying, Eye of the Storm cooldown is up early to 18, 16, 14, 12, and then hits that 10 seconds at max rank that it was at all ranks. Again, Janna, skill-based, she can participate in trades. She's a little more skill-based to kite. Still really good at kiting, don't get me wrong, but takes a little more some now. She's not quite a shield bot anymore. So that's fun, that's exciting. That's Janna. Moving on to Malphite. Alright, I'm going to say this straight up. I feel like as good of a change as this is to Malphite, I don't see this changing much in bronze. All the power to the higher elo people, but in bronze, Malphite's just not exciting enough in the top lane, especially when you added something so cool like Xin Zhao. I don't feel like we're going to see a whole lot of Malphite, especially when you're just essentially giving him more armor while Granite Shield is active. Give him triple the armor, which by all means is really cool. Triple armor on first hit, super powerful, makes his engage on his ult much more powerful. And his passive armor is going to be down though to 30% armor at max rank from 35%. Again, it's a nice change. It's really nice. However, it's not exciting, and there's a lot more exciting options in the top lane, and I feel like he's just going to get edged out in our eyes, the eyes of the bronze, because he's just not quite as cool. Moving on to Orianna, her Q command attack, the missile speed is up to 1400. I believe that's the same as the Janna. Nope, it's 200 less. Anyway, missile speed is going to be up. It felt a little bit robotic, a little slow. I mean, I get it. She's a robot. Haha, that's funny. But now they made her a little more viable. We're going to have Qs flying around all over the place. It's not quite that much of a buff, but it's a sizable, nice buff. Essentially, with these three changes, what they did is they wanted to make her feel more flowy, more streamlined, more effective. So they increased the missile speed, and for her W and her R, so the spread out and the pull in, for those of you that don't know dissonance and shockwave, that's what they do. When the ball reaches its target, if you buffered those, so if you hit those spells while you're sending the Q, when it arrives, boom, or boom. So it's, again, it's bringing everything more streamlined, plus the Q is going to move a little faster, so it's going to be a little harder to buffer on the way. But max rank, or max range, I still feel like you're going to have good amount of time to be able to buffer that. It's going to make people like me much worse at Orianna, so I'm going to spam the shit out of those and lose a bunch of mana, but that's okay. She's a little bit more streamlined, but with that comes a little more skill to player. Orianna, everybody. Moving on to Ornn. They fixed all his problems. He's a brand new champion. I'm just kidding. They're trying to edge him back to where he needs to be relevant. They gave him 40 extra base mana. They reduced his Q cost to 55 at all ranks rather than just 55 at the first. And his E mana cost is down to 50 mana rather than 60. Again, I don't feel like this fixes Ornn. He's got a lot to be desired, and I feel like mana, as it was a problem. It was a problem, but I don't think that's what made him underpowered. I guess we'll see. I'll probably try Ornn now, because this looks like, in addition to all the other changes they've made, this looks like the first attempt where he might be semi-viable. I mean, Scar would probably disagree with me. He loves the shit out of this guy, but I'm not digging him. And Smart Buy is also a really fun one for me, because his mini shop is now going to prioritize health regen over attack damage. Means the items that you can build while on the Rift are better, in my opinion. They're not so dumb. Sometimes you don't have to build 1 billion Longstorns, even though you can only build 6. Anyway, that's Ornn. Again, not super viable. Maybe more viable than he was. Definitely worth a shot this time. But we'll see. We'll see. expect to see him a whole lot because Riot just really flopped on his release, and I don't expect to see Ornn come back. He's going to be like Ivern level for the rest of his career. Poor guy. He looked fun. Anyway, moving on to Vayne, another small, tiny kind of rework. Basically, they just changed the way that you need to play Vayne. She scales better with attack speed and on hit, and a little worse with crit. Her Q, and this is why, her Q is not going to crit. That's not going to be bonus crit damage on her Q. Instead, they upped her damage to 50% to 70% of total attack damage, so 20 at every rank percent of her Q. So better early trades, nice. Better early laning phase because they took down percent health damage on her bolts. So that's going to be nice. Early better trading. I like it. It's fun, and the minimum damage is up to 50, 65, 80, 95, and 110. That's up about 10, if I'm right. I'm sorry, it's 10. 5. Wow, that's odd. 10, 5. Same. Down 5, down 10. Okay, 10, up, 5, up, same. 5, down, 10, down. That's how it's going to look. But still going to do the 12% max health, max rank. Again, shoring up the laning phase. That's all they're going for here. And her ult, the coolest part of Vayne's kit now is whenever an opponent dies within 3 seconds of being damaged by Vayne in any way, her ult's duration is going to be increased by 4 seconds. So in team fights, she can go invisible, kite around, do more damage, be invisible. I think I said that already. Move faster. She's going to be able to do a lot more of that in team fights, and I think that's going to bring her impact a little bit up. Again, she kills tanks with that W. They didn't really change that at max rank, so that's nice. And they brought up some of her trading power in her Q without building a bunch of crit. That's Vayne, everybody. She's going to be something, my champion to watch. I don't do that for the series, but my champion to watch is Vayne, because I feel like she's going to come back in a big way. Even though these changes seem pretty small, all you got to do is really change the way that you play her from crit, again, to a little bit more attack speed, a little more on hit. I feel like she's gonna, you're really gonna feel that. Just my opinion. Anyway, Bork user right here. Bork user. I love Bork. Anyway, Viegar. Not a huge bunch of changes, but changes that matter. Base stats, his attack range is up 25. His base health regen is up about 1.08. And his health regen growth is up 0.05. So it's more attack range, he has better regen, and better regen growth. So he's more health and stuff. No, he just regens it faster. Anyway, the cool change on this one is his W has an 8-second cooldown at all ranks now, rather than 10 to 8. And every 50 stacks of his passive, in addition to giving him 50 a bonus to AP, every 50 is going to reduce Dark Matter's cooldown by 10%. And then 10% of the total from that 10%. And so on and so forth. So essentially, super late game here. Super late game. You can have W's falling from the sky like crazy. Hitting people, doing a bunch of damage. Again, super late game. Don't expect to see it. But something to watch. Something that could be pretty scary. Take it out in the practice tool. Stack a bunch of AP. And then show me how fast you can spam this W. Because that's super exciting to me. Anyway. Just food for thought. Food for thought. Moving on to the changes that matter. Ardent Sensor. You might have heard of the changes they made to bring it down. They're reverting those. So the attack speed is going to be 20 to 35%. On hit damage is going to be 20 to 35 at levels 1 to 18. That's, again, like it used to be. However, to balance it, what they did was they removed the on hit heal. So it still gives you the heal buff. It still gives you bonus healing and shield power. However, when it hits you, it's going to give you this bonus attack speed. It's going to give you the bonus on hit damage. It's not going to give you healing from each auto attack. But to give it a little bit of some, your healing or shielding an allied champion also gives you the attack speed and on-hit damage buff. So that's kind of nice. It's not going to be nearly as powerful as it was, but attack speed and on-hit damage, can't really complain with that. It's going to be something, but it's not going to be what it is right now. And it's sad to see it go, but good riddance. I'm sick of your dumbass in my solo queue. Hopefully I get a chance to climb now. I doubt it, because I'm just bad, but I like to blame you for now. No, I can't blame you anymore. Stay on. Anyway, Bramble Vest, it's going to be 100 more gold, and it's going to do 5 less damage. And it's going to no longer apply grievous wounds to non-champions. Didn't know that was a problem. Didn't know that minions had some healing, but whatever. Anyway, so Bramble Vest, a little less gold efficient, which is nice. Not that it's super nice, not that it was super overpowered, but I think what Riot wants to do here is move tanks and duelists into a very equal place, where either one of them can win the laning phase. Because after a while, after enough items, the tanks are going to win, and to bring them to that power spike a little later, bring the duelists a little earlier with less damage reflected on them, being able to trade the way they want to, gain gold the way they want to. They can probably reach that point a little earlier. We'll see how it affects it. That's how I think it will, but we'll see. Thornmail, since Bramble Vest is more expensive, Thornmail is going to give you 5 more armor. Exciting, but not. Edge of Night, spell shield duration is going to be up to 7 seconds, and the active cooldown is down to 40 seconds. I believe the spell shield duration is back to what it was, but the active cooldown is down. I think it's never been down to 40 seconds. Now, you can feel free to correct me on that, because I have no freaking clue. But that's what I think. That's what I think I remember. I don't know. Spell shield duration, active cooldown. It's still worse than a Mercurial Scimitar and a QSS. Just my personal opinion, because everything that you're going to want to avoid as a damage dealer, you can probably get hit by and then avoid with a QSS. But Edge of Night's cool too now, I guess. I don't know. Both, you're losing some power somewhere. But that's not for me to say. I mean, maybe on Misfortune it'd still be pretty good, and it probably would. But that's the one instance where I think both would be good if you're really having a CC problem. Anyway, moving on to Righteous Glory. That shit is really good with combination of other items. So they upped it by about 150 gold, and that came from the combined cost. Huge changes, man. Huge changes. Zeke's Convergence. I love this item. I build it on Rakan all the time. It's so fun. So fun. They brought the cost down 150. The combined cost is also down 150. That's where it's coming down. Okay? Now hear me out, because I know none of you are playing this because it's too fun, apparently. Ally burn damage, it's going to be 25% of the basic attack damage instead of 17.5. And if you don't know what it does to begin with, you're going to hit your ult. There's going to be the circle that pops up around you. A bind at ally is going to do 150, or an additional 50%, so 150% damage. And that extra 50 is going to be magic damage. So you get this on an ADC and a support. The ADC is now going to do hybrid damage, 150% of it. And the total damage in this change is still going to be 50%. So it's going to do 25%, 125% upfront, 25% over a period of time. And then they did make it worse, though. They made the ally burn damage really cool. However, the Frost Storm no longer ignites from just attacking a burning enemy. So when your ally hits it, they burn, you hit them, then your circle burns. Super, super cool. Not a whole lot of damage from that one, but it's still pretty cool. Froststorm is no longer going to ignite from you basic attacking it after they're burning. It's going to ignite when you slow them. I want to try Karma Zeeks now, because I feel like that'd be really fun. But we'll see. That's kind of my theory craft right there. It's going to be bad, but I want to try it because it seems really fun. Again, I love the shit out of this item. Please try it at least once. It feels fun to play. I mean, it's not the best all the time, but if you build it in every situation, you're gonna have fun at least once, and then you'll know which situation to build it in. That's some bronze ass advice there. But anyway, spell shields. Spell shields are going to take one spell and negate that, and if something else comes at exactly the same time or a very similar time, it's going to take the first one, it's going to eat the first one, the second one, it's going to hit you. It's going to apply on Sivir's E, Nocturne's W, Banshee's Veil, and Edge of Night. Again, every time I read that, it makes me sad. I feel like, yeah, it's just sad. I mean, maybe Malzahar is now at more of a premium. Morgana's Black Shield seems like it's more at a premium. I mean, that's also a spell shield. So yeah, those things are at more of a premium, and everyone else gets screwed. So yeah, take that. Other things with spell shields other than Malzahar and Morgana, take that. Anyway, that's a sad note to end it on. I hope I covered this in a decently quick manner, but again, there was a lot of changes, a lot of things going on, so I didn't want to waste too much of your time, but I wanted to let you know what's going on at the same time. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your likes. I very much appreciate your subscribes. I make sure to really make it known that I really appreciate that. Your views, I mean, this is my most viewed series because I got a comment on how to improve it. I tried. Tell me what you think. Comment, like, dislike, the whole shebang. It's here for you. But thanks so much for watching, and until my next video, have a good one.